Right now at Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory, save 50 to 70% off everything in stores and online. That's right, 50 to 70% off everything. Celebrate the 4th with dresses from $19.99 at Banana Republic Factory. And at Gap Factory stores, tees start at $4.99. Plus, save an extra 40% off clearance. Sale ends Tuesday. Search our store locator for your nearest Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory store or shop us online.
This is Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and you're listening to No BS Hiring Advice Radio. If you're watching as a Google Hangout, well, it's not radio, obviously, it's a video. And what I try to do in 15 minutes on Wednesday at midday is spend some time talking with you to try and help you do an even more effective job of hiring, staffing, recruiting, however you want to describe it. Because I believe the process doesn't have to be as hard or difficult or painful. It certainly doesn't have to take as long as it does. But frankly, most of you have systems in place that make things harder for you to hire. Now, I'm not talking about the systems that are necessary for government reporting. You have those requirements, and I'm certainly not talking about that. What I am talking about is systems like in systems theory and social work, that your processes interfere with what you ostensibly are setting out to accomplish, which is hiring exceptional talent. Now, before we go into today's show, let me just simply say this one is sponsored by consultingassignments.com. Consultingassignments.com is a site where you can find and fill consulting assignments, full-time consulting positions, temp to perm, and contract to hire opportunities anywhere in the world completely free. Posting a job or a resume is free. Searching jobs and resumes is also free, as is the ability to contact one another. The only thing the site charges for is if you're going to feature a job or a resume, it is a whopping $10 for 30 days. And I know the price is going to be going up in a little while, but in the meantime, it is $10 for 30 days. And if you're going to feature more than one position, they have a system set up that takes the price down even more. So again, the name of the site is consultingassignments.com. Now, this show is going to be really about, and I titled it, Attracting the Low-Hanging Fruit. It's about attracting a better caliber of active job hunter. Now, I want to preface this by saying what I'm trying to do in a number of shows and articles I'm writing is encourage you to step up in class. I think habits have caused a lot of firms I know to get lazy. So job descriptions get cut and paste into advertising. There's really very little salesmanship except what I call Tarzan salesmanship. You know, we need someone who, and they're beating their chest, demanding exactly what they want, doing nothing, doing very little to sell opportunities to job hunters. And if there's anything that you should have gotten from my last show and the article I wrote for LinkedIn called The $1 Billion Staffing Mistake, is that people want to be heard. They want to feel like they're actually contributing something of value to organizations. And they don't feel that way right now. Now, I took last week's show and I turned it into an article and enhancing it in some way. And if you haven't seen it, go to LinkedIn, or better yet, do a Google search, the $1 Billion Staffing Mistake. Because what's clear for job hunters that may not be clear to you is how much your process really offends them and how angry they are. And not the hoops you put them through, because you have to evaluate and assess. But once they're on board, that they're treated, frankly, nothing more than robots. It's factory work to them. That's not the language you use, that they use, I should say, but nor is it the language that you use. But they're basically working an assembly line. and they feel like they're on an assembly line, even though they're not using that language. So what you need to do, and this is really the starting place for this article, for this show, is talk with your future employees and create a process in place that really involves them in decisioning. Now, understand, involves them in decisioning should also mean challenge authority, because and reward people for challenging authority, because if you really want a factory worker, you really should offshore all your jobs, because there are people offshore who will work for less and really like being treated like factory workers for now because they're happy to have jobs. But for so many people right now, whether they're in the US or India or China, clearly they want to be heard and they want to believe that their opinions matter. So you want to basically talk to your new workforce or the people that you're evaluating, say, we really want to bring on people who contribute. Now, I know a lot of firms say that, but we really mean it. We want you to challenge leadership. Because when you think about it, there have been American presidents that have been chastised for hiring a bunch of yes men. Well, frankly, American business does the same thing. You really don't want people to challenge authority. You want people who are docile and compliant, and then wonder why you get mediocre new hires. So my encouragement is start off by marketing yourself as an organization where you really want to hear from the workforce, even if the idea is not accepted, and that they're not going to be reprimanded for having creative thinking. Now, you can make it clear at the end of the day, someone will have to make a decision and it may not be yours, but you want to milk them for ideas. Now, in your advertising, I want you to not start off by talking about your firm so heavily, because basically it sounds like a Tarzan ad at that point. Hi, we are a great organization. We want you to really work for us because we're wonderful and we're great. We're the lead. Talk about the job applicant and what this position will do for them, what they're going to learn from that experience, how they can grow professionally, how they can really develop and cultivate the skills that they've had previously. Now, don't get me wrong. You want people with certain skills and certain strengths. Like, as someone pointed out to me in my article where I talked about challenging authority, you do want people who are compliant and have a compliance mentality if they're working in a nuclear reactor. Of course you want that. But there are so many jobs where the ideal is someone who's going to question. So you want to be focusing in on them and what their growth is going to be like in order to attract people to you. You also, and again, this may sound goofy, but I find more positions on the web than I do on companies' websites. It's bizarre to me that I'm able to find listings on Simply Hired or Indeed for firms that don't reside on their website. So make sure your company website is up to date. Now, if you're using a tool like PeopleSoft or some of the other HR functions, there's no reason why you don't use the module that posts and removes jobs. So make the point of posting your jobs to your firm's website and that they are optimized for what you're looking for. So also, the auto posting and auto removal is very important for this, because you don't want to be getting responses to jobs that don't exist. It turns people off to your firm and then they complain and moan about it, which you don't want to have happen. You want to make sure that your job titles are optimized for the role. So you don't want to be in a situation, I'm going to disregard my phone ringing right now, because for some reason it is. we're going to let that go. So you want to make sure your job description is optimized for the role. So I've seen listings recently for programmer level 5. Who cares? Who cares if this is a level 5 programming position? But if you have a, I don't know, Java C++ developer, senior Java C++ developer W/ for with, whatever the experience is, you're laying out clearly what it is you're looking for. And that's really useful. So optimize the titles for your position descriptions. When you have the URL for the job, some positions or some websites are structured where the URL has a numeric code to it. So for example, I'm just going to pick my own firm, for example. If this were my website, it was the biggamehunter.us /12345 job.htm, for example. Well, that's not really useful. But from your vantage point, if it said Java C++ as part of the URL, that is useful because it helps with the SEO for the sites. Also, SEO the job. Think of it as being something that's going to be important for Google to find. That they need to locate this in order for your job to be located. Now, sometimes there are generic jobs that you have available all the time. So I'll just use the example of a particular accounting job that is open year-round. For whatever the reason, it's open year-round. Number one is make sure that if I saw this on a client's page. I took a look at this specific job they wanted me to recruit for. And I said, how long has this job been open? I said, well, we look for this person all the time. I said, well, it gives the idea that, because you have a date that the job became available in the listing, that this job has been open for 18 months. Who's going to want to apply for a job that's been open for 18 months? Having explained to me that what they do is, they keep this listing open. Well, as you could tell, it kind of distracts the job hunter if you think the job has been open for a long time. So make sure that the date is not listed, that the position became available. Again, goofy distraction, no need for it. Okay. Now, from there, I just want to cover one more thing with you, and I lost my notes because I was clicking around, so I apologize. Bear with me 1 second. There we are. The last thing I want to bring to your attention is have video on your site. Have video that discusses, and you could put the video up on YouTube. So think in terms of YouTube as being the second most popular search engine in the world behind Google itself. And you want to have a video on the site and then have that on YouTube where information about your firm and positions can be found readily. Multiple videos, of course. And you want to have a video on your site for a couple of reasons. Number one is, you can have the hiring manager talk about the position and what it's like working at the firm. And number two, it helps with your rankings on Google. So those were a couple of the ideas that I had for drawing a better caliber of individual to your firm. I also want to mention that I want to help you with recruiting because I have enormous networks throughout the United States to help pull people into you from. So if you're trying to hire, call me. My number is 646-374-8656, or send me an email at jeffaltman@thebiggamehunter.us. Let's set up a time to speak. I'd love to help you firm staff positions. Last point, if we're not already connected on LinkedIn, send me a connection request at linkedin.com/IN/the the big game hunter. I accept connection requests from people worldwide, except if you look like a spammer or scammer, except if you're a third-party recruiter. So I'm Jeff Altman. Hope you enjoyed today's show. I'll be back next week with more for you in the way of no BS hiring advice. Hope you have a great day. Take care.
Right now at Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory, save 50 to 70% off everything in stores and online. That's right, 50 to 70% off everything. Celebrate the 4th with dresses from $19.99 at Banana Republic Factory. And at Gap Factory stores, tees start at $4.99. Plus, save an extra 40% off clearance. Sale ends Tuesday. Search our store locator for your nearest Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory store or shop us online. Right now at Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory, save 50 to 70% off everything in stores and online. That's right, 50 to 70% off everything. Celebrate the 4th with dresses from $19.99 at Banana Republic Factory. And at Gap Factory stores, tees start at $4.99. Plus, save an extra 40% off clearance. Sale ends Tuesday. Search our store locator for your nearest Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory store or shop us online.